It's my first night in Beijing. Typically when I'm in a new city, if I have the time, I like to walk around, usually at night, but try to at least get out the first day without a camera and just get a feel for the city. It's just kind of nice to get out and kind of get a feel for the people, get a feel for the pollution. So that's what I'm doing tonight in Beijing, China. The smells in this place. Somewhere between like foul cheese and rotten garbage. Earlier this year, my wife was invited by the UN Women's Organization to come to Beijing, China, for an event raising awareness for domestic violence. Naturally, Allie and I followed and made it the jumping-off point for our trip to the States and a few other places. We did loads of what one do in Beijing, markets, malls, and the Great Wall. All of them are special in different ways, but there's not a lot of insight that I have to offer when there's probably 20 videos and the suggestions alone on YouTube. They're going to tell you a story about this place quite well, possibly and probably better than I will. I only have a couple modification requests for the Great Wall of China. You see, no one told me there'd be a hill here. If this wall was so great, there'd be an elevator. Maybe an escalator? The reason that the UN invited my wife of all people is because she plays roller derby for the Bangkok roller derby team. If you do not know what roller derby is, that's fine. There's links in the description below that explain the rules, but in its simplest explanation, it's a 5-on-5 team game that's full of contact and highly aggressive. Oh yeah, and it's on roller skates. I think it was our second night there. We got to meet up with the other teams at a local bar, get to know the other skaters, and have a few beers. So now we're at the place where we needed to be. We're doing the derby thing for the UN. I'm drinking Boulevard beer. What? Which is awesome! Dude, I'm turning people on to Boulevard beer. After a couple nights at the Holiday Inn that we had booked, we had to change to a hotel that was booked by the event. It was quite a switch. Our first hotel felt strikingly like a hotel from the States, just with a larger language barrier. If you've ever been to Miami, it's probably about the same. The second hotel was all China, and we had a hell of a time getting there. I still don't understand you. Everything you just saw is after she calmed down. People warned me about dramatic differences in everyday culture, but being screamed at by a taxi driver over the size of my bags is unexpected to say the least. She then voice chatted a friend about the adventure as it was going on and kept looking over at us as to find more things to informatively share with her curious friend on the other end. It is always an adventure. I could make an entire video about all the quote-unquote weird shit that we encountered in China, so I will. I'll keep the weird shit to a minimum in this video, and the other will be out later this summer. But just as an indicator of things to come, we often encountered men catching turtles in this river and immediately running up to the street above, holding the turtle dangling from a stick for passerbyers to see. I don't think they were being sold as pets. The pollution was awful on most days. One day it rained, and the day after, the pollution had subsided a bit. The rest of the time, however, the smog was more dense than I could have ever imagined. I started walking towards the blinking lights in the background that are illuminating the polluted smog like fireworks illuminate their own smoke, and I'm confronted with just a gigantic television in the background and opera. Here's a question for you. Do you like Chinese food? Some sweet and sour chicken or some beef and broccoli? I love Chinese food. Outside of China. This may come as a surprise, but I find myself not eating very much while I'm here. I think the surprise might come that I'm not a big fan of Chinese food, at least northern Chinese food. I find it all kind of brown and oily and lacking kind of like texture and depth. It was so unpleasant and unappealing to my taste buds that I ate McDonald's twice. I haven't eaten McDonald's in years and don't plan to eat it again anytime soon. At least the fries are good. In the end, China is one of the most challenging places I've been to so far. There are so many things being done differently that it is unlike anywhere on Earth. But regardless of the lingual roadblocks or the food that I find unappealing, I enjoyed myself, and I'll go back. Remember, everyone has their own strangeness. Every person and every country It's only due to the homogeneous nature of where most of us come from in the West that we don't find what everyone is doing as strange.